What up, YouTube? You already know Big Lou tapping back in with what it do with Big Lou, NFZR2, baby. And we're back on that profile action. We're going to do a little bit of NBA today with none other than the backcourt of the Portland Trailblazers. The late 80s, mid 80s, I think they came into they became a backcourt mid 80s. For sure, late 80s up until the early 90s, 91, 92. And that's none other than the Portland Trailblazers backcourt. He was born Clyde Austin Drexler on June 22nd, 1962. He's currently 60 years old, right? He got the nickname Clyde the Glide. He was born in New Orleans, Louisiana. He's 6 foot. He's listed at 6'7", 220 pounds. He went to Sterling High School in Houston, Texas. And then he went to the University of Houston. And then he was drafted in the 83 draft, first round, 14th pick overall, selected by the Portland Trailblazers. His playing career in the NBA was from 1983 to 1998. He played shooting guard and small forward, and he's known to wear the number 22. And then he had a coaching career for 4 years from 98 to 2002. So he played with Portland Trailblazers from 83 to 95, and then the Houston Rockets from 95 to 98. And then he was a coach with the Houston Rockets from 98 to 2000, and the Denver Nuggets assistant coach 2001 and 2002. Here's some of his career highlights and award. He's an NBA champion in 95 with the Houston Rockets. He's a 10-time NBA All-Star, 1986, 1988, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 1996, and 1997. All-NBA first team, 1992. Two-time All-NBA second team, 88 and 91, and a two-time All-NBA third team, 1990 and 1995. He's a member of the NBA anniversary team 50th and 75th anniversaries. His number 22 is retired by both the Portland Trailblazers and the Houston Rockets. He's a consensus in college. He was a consensus All-American in 1983. He's a SWC Co-Player of the Year in 1983. And his number 22 is also retired by the University of Houston Cougars. He's a Texas Sports Hall of Famer, and he's also a Houston Sports Hall of Famer. And he's also in the College Basketball Hall of Fame and the NBA Basketball Hall of Fame. His NBA statistics, career statistics are, he scored a total of 22,195 points for a 20.4 point average per game. He has a total of 6,677 rebounds for a 6.1 rebound per game average. And he has 6,125 assists for a 5.6 assists per game average, which those are all three solid numbers for a two-guard slasher small forward. He was inducted into the College Basketball Hall of Fame in 2006. He was a member of the 1992 Dream Team Barcelona that competed in Barcelona. They won gold. And he also was the FIBA America's Championship was also 92, and they won a gold there. Here's a little bit of background about him. He was born, like I mentioned, in New Orleans and raised in Houston, Texas, South Park area. He attended Ross Sterling High School in Houston, where he was a classmate of tennis player Zena Garrison. As a sophomore, he made the varsity basketball team and tried out for the basketball team, but failed to make the cut. Drexler played as a 6'6" center as a senior. He began receiving attention from college coaches following a 34-point, 27-rebound performance against Sharpston High School during the 79 Christmas tournament. After graduating in 1980, he was recruited by New Mexico State University, Texas Tech University, and the University of Houston. The latter, after childhood friend Michael Young told an assistant head coach Guy Lewis that Drexler was the best player he had faced in high school, Houston was able to recruit them both due to Drexler's friendship with Michael Young and his desire to stay home. Drexler majored in finance and worked at a bank during the summer. Lewis recalled in 2003 that he initially received hate mail from Houston supporters and alumni for recruiting Drexler, as they felt that he was not good enough to play for the school, which we know that was bull crap, right? So he gets drafted by Portland, like I mentioned, 83 draft, the 14th overall pick. He averaged 7.7 points in 17.2 minutes per game in his rookie season. These all improved with more playing time in his second season to 17.2 points, 6 rebounds, and 5.5 assists, and 2.2 steals per game. In his third season, Drexler made his first All-Star team, averaging 18.5 points, 5.6 rebounds, 8 assists a game, and 2.6 steals a game. In the 89-90 season, Drexler led the Portland Trailblazers to the NBA Finals, averaging 26.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 6.2 assists. But his team lost to the Detroit Pistons in 5 games. In 90-91 season, Drexler led Portland to a franchise-best 63-19 record. Heavily favored to win the West, the Lakers upset the Blazers by winning the Western Conference. And we all know what happened. The Lakers ended up going up against the Bulls, and that was Jordan's and the Bulls' first of 6 titles. Let's see. In 91-92 season, he made the All-NBA first team and finished second to Michael Jordan in MVP voting. He met Jordan's Chicago Bulls in the NBA Finals that same season, only to fall short, as Jordan and the Bulls went on to win their second consecutive championship in 6-game series against Chicago. Drexler averaged almost 25 points a game, almost 8 rebounds a game, and 5.3 assists per game. And then in 92, like I mentioned, he was selected to the Dream Team, the greatest team ever assembled in Olympic basketball history. And then he got to move on to Houston and play with the Houston Rockets, where he teamed up with his college teammate, none other than Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. And Drexler was able to help them win their second title, their back-to-back titles, sweeping the Orlando Magic. The first one, the Knicks. They played the Knicks in a 7-game series, which Drexler was not a part of that team. But he finally got his ring with the Houston Rockets. And Clyde, he got the name Clyde the Glide Drexler because the dude would float through the air. He was a dunker like Jordan. But he seemed to have more, like Jordan had hang time. That's why they called him Air Jordan. Clyde, obviously, it rhymes glide, but he really had glide to him. You know what I'm saying? It was like more finesse, I guess you could say. And he would, glide and soar through the air, for dunks and whatever else. And he competed, I believe he competed in some of the early dunk competitions, if I remember correctly. But he definitely was, back then, you had Jordan was the number 1 shooting guard, and then you had, besides Jordan, it was like Drexler was 2 and Mitch Richmond was 2. It was 2-3 with these 2 guys. And then you had Joe Dumars, and then pretty much everybody else, besides Rolando Blackman. You have Rolando Blackman was around at that time. Let me see who else was around at that time. Shooting guard. Let's see. You had Jeff Hornacek, obviously, you know what I mean, but he was more of a shooter. Craig Eloy, but he was more of a Dan Marley. But this is a little bit later, but these guys were kind of 2 guards /3 small forwards. But it pretty much was those 4. It was Mitch Richmond, Clyde Drexler, obviously Michael Jordan was 1, and then you had Joe Dumars, Danny Ainge a little bit there. You know what I mean? You had Danny Ainge. Yeah, Danny Ainge was around. You had let's see if I can remember. Byron Scott was, he was a scorer, not quite up on the level as these guys. I would say only because you had Magic, you had James Worthy, and Kareem. You know what I mean? So those guys were the number 1 option, 2 option, and 3 option for the Lakers. Then you had Byron Scott, but he still put up, 15, 16 points a game, 14 points a game. I think he finished his career with a 14-point average. But Portland had a strong team for a while there. They were in the mix, battling up against Detroit. They went up against the Lakers in the West, and then, they lost to the Bulls also. But you had, the other guy who's going to be the other part of this profile, Terry Porter, running the point. You had Clyde at the 2. You had, Buck Williams. You had Kevin Duckworth. You had Jerome Kersey, Cliff Robinson. You know what I mean? They drafted a young Drazen Petrovic, but obviously with 2 All-Stars, Terry Porter at the point and Clyde Drexler at the 2, Drazen Petrovic didn't get no playing time there in Portland. And then, and he was a hell of a player, international super star. And then he went on to sign with I don't know if he was traded or if he signed as a free agent with the New Jersey Nets. At the time, it was New Jersey Nets. And then that's when he broke free and, was averaging like 22, 24 points a game. But Clyde Drexler definitely is one of the baddest two guards. And even in my, I did by position, right? The point, the shooting guard, the small forward, the power forward, and the center. My top 10 guys in each position all time. And I got Clyde Drexler is on the, he's on the point shooting guard list in my top 10. You know what I mean? And then Kobe came out just as Clyde was winning his first championship. Kobe came out in 96, but then Kobe didn't really get to take off until around 98 or 99, I think it was. 98, I believe, because the Lakers still had Eddie Jones, and that was their primary two guard. Kobe came straight out of high school, so he needed a couple years to get, I guess, from what the Lakers felt, to get, get his feet wet somewhat. He was green into the league, I guess you could say. Right? So Clyde Drexler always sticks out to me from how he played the game. Here's a little bit. I want to give a little bit of a player profile on him. Clyde the Glide Drexler, as he was nicknamed at the University of Houston and throughout his professional career, was famed for his speed and athleticism on the court and his easygoing and quiet demeanor off the court. So that kind of piggybacks off what I said about when it says here about his speed and athleticism. He was able to glide and soar through the air, man, when he would get to the bucket, and it was a lot of finesse to it and athleticism, like said here. At the University of Houston, Drexler became well known for his exceptional abilities as a finisher. Again, piggybacks off just what I said, but generally was not considered a great shooter. During his pro career, Drexler developed a much more well-rounded game, even becoming an effective post player and more consistent outside shooter. His extraordinary leaping abilities allowed him to be an acrobatic dunker, and Drexler participated in numerous NBA slam dunk contests during the late 80s. So I was correct about that. He never won none, but he did participate. Drexler was regarded as a versatile player, and he was consistently among the leaders at his position in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. He also posted a considerable number of block shots for a player his size, ranking third for his career totals among guards. See, that's another thing. Third all-time as a guard is in block shots. That's excellent. Drexler set a Trailblazers record in 89 by dunking on 11-foot, 1-inch rim. As of 2008, Drexler leads all guards with his career average of offensive rebounds with 2.4 a game. He's also, I believe he's still the president of the 3-on-3 league. I think Ice Cube's part of that too, but Drexler's the commissioner if it's still going. He was named one of the 50th greatest players in NBA history in 1996. And again, like I mentioned, he was named to the league's 75th anniversary team in 2021. In 2002, Drexler co-authored his autobiography, Clyde the Glide, with Portland Tribune sports writer Kerry Eggers and University of Houston classmate and CBS sports broadcaster Jim Nantz providing the foreword. Let's see. Drexler, let me see. They own a world famous barbecue and grill, which includes the 22 bar. That was his jersey. His mother also works at the downtown restaurant that was started by his uncle in 1967. This is in Houston. And there are two locations, downtown Houston and Bush International Airport. Drexler also started investing in real estate in his rookie NBA season, and although he is now mostly retired, he does do some managing of the Drexler Holdings, LLC, and based in downtown Houston. So we know he's written books. He also wrote the introduction to the children's book, Screws Can't Hoop. And also TV appearances on Married with Children, a cameo appearance on episodes of Arliss, and was also a guest star in the episode of this Sentinel Sentinel. In 2006, he made a cameo appearance in the basketball movie Like Mike 2 Street Ball. That same year, Drexler participated in the first season of the Spike TV show Pros vs. Joes, which I remember that one. Which features 3 amateur contestants matching themselves against 5 professional athletes. Drexler was a member of the regular season Green Team and the final season finale Orange Team. February 21st, 2007, it was announced that Drexler would participate in the 4th season of American version of Dancing with the Stars with his partner Elena Grinengo. Drexler was the 4th celebrity to be voted off in the 5th round. And then also he was on NBC's Celebrity Apprentice, in which he helped the men's team Rock Solid complete a task to create video advertisement for Right Guard. So Clyde Drexler's done a lot in his career, and from business to entertainment to dancing to real estate to